What is up, IDP Army? We are back with another episode, another special show. This one, we are going to talk about Chase Young. What is up with Chase Young? IDP fantasy managers want to know. Washington football team fans want to know. Why isn't Chase Young showing up? What's going on with this team? We thought this defensive line was going to blow the league up. We're scared. We're concerned. Jordan, are you here? Are you here to comfort us? Are you here to make us feel better? Well, find out in just a second. It might be a little spookier than you think.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, before we get into it with Chase Young, do me a favor, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel. We're talking IDP Fantasy Football, we're talking Fantasy Football, we're talking Underdog Football, we're talking Best Ball, Dynasty, whatever. We love Fantasy Football. This is an IDP channel first and foremost. Love my defensive players. That's why I'm making time to do this show on Chase Young. To do that for me, go down in the description, click the link, join Underdog, play some daily fantasy over there. It's different than DraftKings. It's different than FanDuel. It's DFS for people like you and me. That's the only best way I could describe it. It's so much fun. Get in there, get in a draft with me. Let's win some money this weekend. Let's win some money in some tournaments. And yeah, I got a show coming up later on today. They're the Underdogs. Check out that show. It has its own playlist on the channel. That's me. My name is Dave Kluge. That will also have its own new pod feed, which you guys can find the link for that somewhere. I'll put it out there somewhere in the ether. You'll figure it out. But what you really came here for was Chase Young. What's up with Chase Young, Jordan? Is it time to panic on Chase Young? Why have I not seen Chase Young show up? Is it as bad as I think it is? Guys, gals, boys, girls, if you came here looking for someone to comfort you, to make you feel better, I got bad news about Chase Young. This young man has played the most edge snaps, essentially in the NFL, has played the most pass rush snaps in the NFL, and only has 11 pressures. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about pressures. I'm gonna put on my sash, and I'm gonna ascend to the ivory towers of how good is he. It's scary if you look at these objective places that do this kind of stuff. 11 total pressures is not a lot, but the spookiest part, like I said, is the fact that he's played the most snaps of any edge player, and he's putting up paltry pass rushing sort of numbers here. His grades are still good for what that will be and what that may be, but the production is not there, and that's why the team has not felt like it's there, because it isn't. No sacks through the first 4 games. Meanwhile, Monte has gone out here and is able to create 3 sacks. Chase Young's only hit the quarterback twice. Again, I need to stress this over and over. He's played the most edge snaps in the league. Okay. This is the number 2 overall pick from 2020. This is a guy who is supposed to change the franchise. And at the moment, he looks like the second, third best defensive line player on this team. Now, it begs the question, is he hurt? What's going on with him? There may be things going on here that we don't know, but let's talk about him. Let's just talk about the raw numbers. Like I said, 264 defensive snaps, leading edge rushers. That puts him at number 69 in IDP 1-2-3 scoring on the season. Shout out for the 69. I mean, I guess kudos to that, but 33 points is not getting it done for a guy who was potentially drafted as the number 1 defensive line player in your league. This is shaping up to be a disaster. Now, if you're watching this channel and your league mates maybe still believe that this big game is coming, this big Chase Young bounce back game where he has 3 or 4 sacks, and they've told themselves that this is going to happen. I got some bad news for you there too. Chase Young has never had a game with more than 1 sack in it. I believe he only had 7 sacks in his rookie season, and he played plenty of pass rushing snaps. So what are we doing with Chase Young right now? I'm advocating that you try to trade him away in Dynasty and in redraft. What am I looking for? Now, I'll tell you what I have him in the Ultimate IDP Index as. He has gone down a tier in the index since this year even started. I was a little bit concerned. I still think he's worth a future first in Dynasty. That's what I have him as right now. Now, as we get closer to next season, that'll probably go down. Now, what kind of players are you getting first for in your league? That's going to depend on who these people are. But if I could trade Chase Young for a wide receiver too, like if I could get I don't know who's a good wide receiver too in your guys' leagues. A Tyler Boyd, that would be a come up in a big way. If I can capitalize on the name of Chase Young and get myself a player that I'm going to be able to play every week on offense that's going to take care of me, get out of Chase Young. This is another reason why the 0 DL strategy, which I've talked about on this channel many times before, can be something you can use because these defensive line players can sometimes be traps. Jadeveon Clowney's been basically a trap his whole career. Chase Young is suddenly, like I said, even last year, and I've brought this up before. It's crazy I have to say this again, but I've said this last year. He underperformed even compared to Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat put up more points last season. Here it is right here. This is from last year, an article I wrote. I even said coming into the year, I was a little worried. Last year, he played almost 100 more snaps than Montez Sweat, finished with about 10 less points than him, excuse me. Both are good, but I think that the story that we need to stick to here, or the takeaway here for us, is that that Montez Sweat is the guy you want on this defensive line, and he's probably still underrated in your league. If you could do a straight up trade, the thing is, I think people have to be wise to this now. No one's going to trade you Montez Sweat straight across for Chase Young, because I think people are wise to this. So what was I saying earlier about Chase Young and this, what people think might happen? This is Chase Young's rookie season right here on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be. We do a lot of cool stuff here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go watch the Jalen Smith video that I just posted, because we have a big issue with him. He got released, and what are fantasy managers doing with that? But go check that out. But if you look here, he's a 1-sack guy. And again, last year he played a lot of edge snaps. His biggest game of the season was week 14 against San Francisco. 1 sack. He still managed to get 36 points. He had an forced fumble. And he had a fumble recovery and 6 tackles, which is pretty high. I imagine a couple of those were tackles for loss. But even last year, as a rookie, he was not necessarily prolific in the tackle for loss department. So let's talk about what he's done this year with all these snaps. How has he managed to finish right now or be ranked at 69? Well, that is on the back of 13 tackles. That's like 3 a game-ish. 3 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection. So that's 1 impact play per game. So that's kind of what's even keeping him relevant, keeping him in your lineups. If those weren't there, you'd be looking at a guy who, again, is only putting up 3 tackles a game, 2 tackles a game. And you've seen games like that from him. If you're on the screen right now, look at his week 10 against Detroit last year, 4 points. Look at his week 6 against the New York Giants, 7. LA Rams, 6. He had games last year, so with the defensive line position, we have to remember that the floor for these guys is low. And if they don't have a true ceiling, and when I say true ceiling, I say you have to look past all the things you want to see, the how great you think they can be and what they are actually putting on the field for you. And to date, Chase Young is not doing that. So is it time to panic? I believe it is. If I think you need to get out from Chase Young for this year. If he comes back around, get him back on your team. That's okay. I think he's going to have a great career, and I think that he's going to end up getting better. But if you're trying to win in fantasy football right now, he's not really helping you by being in your lineup. You can trade him another piece, and you can turn it into something else. Go pick up Robert Quinn. He's probably on your waivers. He has 4.5 sacks on the season. Okay. He has more pressures than Chase Young has on less pass rush snaps. And again, I need to reiterate one more time. The reason you need to panic is because he is being so inefficient across all metrics, while essentially being having the most volume at the position. And there are these people out in IDP fantasy world that tell you their rubber stamped answer for everything is follow the snaps. Just follow the snaps. Doesn't work like that. I mean, that sounds great. It's cute. It looks good with a process over results shirt. That's cool, man. But your process is not working for some of these people, and you have to have a more flexible process in fantasy football, because we can't sit around and wait for Chase Young to pop with this magical 3-sack game that somebody may tell you is coming. Again, it's not in his repertoire. He can't even get 3 pressures in a game, guys and girls. So somebody out there saying, "Oh, don't worry, hold on, the big game's coming," I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And I have to wonder if there's some sort of lingering injury here. I have to wonder if something's just not wrong. Something's not adding up if he's the player that we thought he was coming out. And he looked good last year. Not great, but good. Still finished top 15, as you saw earlier. But okay, kind of feel like I'm rambling on about how bad the situation is. But the pivot is Montez Sweat. Go acquire Montez Sweat. He is underrated. Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, those guys need to be talked about with TJ Watt and with Myles Garrett and with Danielle Hunter on a weekly basis. That's kind of the level that they have ascended to. I'm wondering, and I'm really hoping that we can maybe really identify after this year that Montez Sweat is the best pass rusher on this line, and that's no shade what Chase Young is as a prospect, what he did at Ohio State. That's great. But we're in the NFL now. Montez Sweat is putting up solid numbers year in and year out. He's getting crazy pressures. He has 6 quarterback hits this year, and he's doing it on less snaps. He's being more efficient. So don't just follow the snaps. That's too reductive. That's really stupid advice. No, I mean, as a baseline spot, I mean, good. That's the cornerstone of all fantasy football, though. Like, be on the field. So if someone's trying to peddle you that as advice, it's called gaslighting. It's not real. All right. So we have a comment here. I don't want to say what it says. It's a little slanderous, but it's overrated bum, basically. And it says no work ethic. Like learn a damn swim move or something. Oh, I love it. I love it. The cameras are always going to be on him. He's going to have every opportunity to wash the stain of how this season has started off of him. We'll just have to see if he can do it, IDP Army. So, like I said, appreciate you guys. Thumbs up the video, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. What do you think's up with Chase Young? Do you think he comes back this season and ends up with a good season? Let's put the over under at 7 sacks. Can he break the numbers he had as a rookie this year, playing all these snaps? Okay, being this elite talent. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Chase Young is going to bounce back, have a better season, or is it time to panic like I think, or am I maybe overreacting just a little bit? But I'm trying to sell him, and I actually got a message already from a guy, Billy. I said, "Man, I'm getting a little worried about Chase Young. I'm trying to get rid of him." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're behind." And I was like, "Oh no!" So I felt like this video needed to go out because if I'm behind and if I'm worried or thinking about it, I know you all are. I've gotten some other questions from people. So, all right, like I said, later on tonight, I'll be streaming with Dave Kluge. We'll be doing The Underdogs. Make sure you check that out. There will be a new podcast feed for that. And that's it for me, guys, gals, and girls. I will be back, like I said, I just said this, tonight. And then we're doing the IDP ranking show. That should be up tomorrow. So until next time, cheerio.
Can you feel it? Thunder in paradise. Can you feel it? Thunder in paradise. Can you feel it? Thunder in paradise. Can you feel it?
Let the rain hit the sand. Build a house on a rock, got a plan. Gotta get stocks, keep them bands. Hear the clock tick, blades on the fan. Used to be mundane on a Monday. Now you have fun day on a Sunday. Cause you switching it up and you living it up. You ain't get it enough. Now you're picking it up.
Is he still recording? I hit in broadcast like 10 seconds ago. Well, if you're getting this bonus feature, what up? What up? Hope y'all like the video. If you do like the content, it looks like I really am just still sitting here. If you do like the content, maybe I should do more short-term videos or